Hi, this is the speed of light. I've just been watching a program about Einstein and general relativity. I just want to tell you this statement because I've always thought you can travel faster than the speed of light, because my calculations allow you to travel faster than the speed of light, whereas Einstein's don't, because when you reach the speed of light you crush down to nothing and that's it. Like, yeah, that's what he says. Well, I think it's different, and this is why I think he's wrong. In Einstein's general relativity, you have a right angle mirror experiment that shows a man standing still with the mirror and two poles on either side. Lightning comes down and strikes the two poles, and in the right angled mirror he sees the two strikes of lightning at the same time in his little right angled mirror. And then at that same point in time, you've got to imagine a bloke coming past on a train at, let's say, 100 miles an hour, and he's got the same mirror, and exactly the point where the lightning strikes, he's exactly the same position as the other bloke, so the two mirrors are like, and exactly the point when they line up and go past each other, the lightning strikes. The bloke on the train, he sees the lightning in the direction of the train first, and the lightning at the back of the train, where the train's just come from, second. Right? First approaching the second. This, Einstein says, proves time is variable to each person and their current relative speed. The speed of light is constant. That's what Einstein says. I say this experiment only proves it is possible to travel faster than the speed of light. This is because the forward-facing mirror catching the light from the lightning bolt is not obliterated. Because if you travel faster than light, yeah, then Einstein says you get crushed. Alright, you can't go faster than light, because in Einstein's relativity you can't travel faster than light, because let's say 70% of the speed of the light or whatever, you're now 40%, now you're viewable from a relative position 40% of your length. You get compressed because you're going that fast. This is what Einstein says, like, yeah. So you've got light travelling towards the mirror and hitting the mirror. It would have been at the speed of light, but now it's the speed of light plus 100 miles an hour. So that mirror should now, relatively, be smashing, because it's now travelling faster than the speed of light relative to the light, if you see what I'm saying. Anyway, that experiment proves what I've just said. Absolutely prove at, let's say, 16,000 miles an hour, like the space shuttle, and it's got a light on the front of it which is emitting photons at the speed of light. Do the photons, do they get destroyed? Do they slow down at the point of emission, or do they all get obliterated? Well, so what I'm saying is, so you're travelling at 17,000 miles an hour, or 17,000 kph, right, in your space shuttle. Let's say you're travelling in a straight line away from the Earth, yeah, and you've got your light beam coming out. Is it shortened by a certain amount? So relatively, let's say you stood still in the one space shuttle and you had one going at 17,000 miles an hour. Is the light beam coming out the one going at 17,000 miles an hour shorter, or is it the same length? The same length. See what I'm saying? Yes. Unfortunately, I'm right. Okay, let's carry on reading. And watching. Let's do a bit of watching.
Speaks about intellectual matters. 2 years of married life, housework, and the care of her husband and of their son had transformed Mileva's role. The couple still seemed content, but as a physicist, Einstein was on his own. Throughout 1905, Einstein overflowed with ideas. Even today it's called...
He also has another experiment where you get a juggler on the bank, on a bank of a river or a bank of a lake, and you get a juggler on a boat. Alright, and in this story, it's obviously one of his analogies, and because the bloke juggling on the boat is actually standing still relative to the boat, the physics involved in explaining what's actually happening to the battens, whatever you call them, juggling sticks, is exactly the same calculations needed to explain what's happening to the bloke on the shore. So let's say you had two robots, right, and they knew how to juggle, and then the battens they had were all identical. I'm saying identical, they've got to be identical, and these robots have got to be identical, right? But these robots are adaptive, intelligent robots, and they can juggle anything you give to them. So you give these identical robots 3 juggling bars each, and these juggling bars, or these juggling rods, are absolutely identical. There's no difference in them at all, not even 1 micron difference. They're exactly identical in weight and everything. You put one on the boat and you put one on the shore, and you put them in vacuum chambers, so there's no air to, to affect them, yeah? Now, Einstein is saying that the one on the shore, which is moving at a different speed to the one on the boat, has exactly the same calculations, but then because of general relativity and the time fluctuation, they're different. I'm sorry mate, but that is a paradox and it doesn't make sense. The only thing that makes sense is that the boat's moving up and down for a start, and it's moving 5 knots forwards, which is making a backward thrust on the on the blah-de-blahs, making a backward thrust on, because you're on the Earth, alright, and the Earth's got a rotation as well, and you're now moving at 5 knots and this one's standing still, so you've got that slight bit of gravitational rotational difference, and you've got the bobbing up and down on the lake as well, which is going to make a massive difference to the calculations. So then you take the data from the 2 robots and you find that they're not identical, but you've told them to throw it to the same height and bring them back down to the same amount of rotations, right? And they've done it, right? And you've measured them with the camera, and it's the calculations that you've used to see what they've done, they're identical. Right, you've actually got the identical calculations of seeing what they've done, what you've seen through your eyes, what you've seen through a camera. Right, the actual calculations of the camera is exactly the same, yeah, because the rotations, you've made the robots do exactly the same juggling act, right? But the robots have had to exert different amounts of forces. So the calculations aren't exactly the same. The calculations are only the same as perceived via the light, right? But the amount of energy is different, which makes all of Einstein's calculations wrong. Completely wrong. Because he didn't quite understand the idea of robotics and precise calculations. It was just general calculations and what he'd seen with his eye, which is different to reality. That's why we come up with new physical things like what the new physics called, I can't remember what they're called now. It's just I've just zapped my brain trying to explain something. It's physics. Oh come on, idiot! Oh God. Quantum physics, alright, which are different to general relativity, and you can't have the two working together. Alright, anyway, that's that one today. That was quite funny. I like highlighting contradictions. When you say contradiction, you know there's an imperfection and it isn't correct. Alright. Einstein didn't know all the Einstein didn't ponder all of the dimensions, unfortunately. Einstein, go on.